Welcome to Small Arms Solutions. Today we're looking at a rifle that I have had many requests for over the last few years, for a review of the Barrett REC7. Now, the REC7 that I have here is a 5.56 millimeter. The one that I really tried to get was a 6.8 SPC, but those are the most popular versions of this rifle, and there was none available, and they weren't quite sure when there was going to be any available. So rather than wait for the 6.8, they went ahead and we got one of the 5.56 millimeter versions. We're going to talk a little bit about the history of Barrett and black rifles. Everybody knows Barrett is known for their 50 caliber sniper rifles. Well, around the 1994 time period when the 6.8 SPC cartridge came out, Barrett was one of the first companies that got onto the 6.8 SPC and started building rifles for it. In fact, I think they may have even been the first production rifle out there. At the time I was doing Black Rifle 2, I turned everything in to my editor in April, and I believe the book came out in the summer. Now, right after I turned the manuscript into Blake Stevens at collector grade, he was able to get some photographs of the brand new Barrett model 468 for M4 and then 6.8 for 6.8 SPC. Now, at that time, that was basically a fixed stock. It had a recce type barrel, 18-inch barrel, and it also was direct gas, or internal piston, as I like to say. And it utilized the arms SIR system rail, which is a rather large, but at that time that rail was very significant for it being a free-float barrel. Now, that rifle did not last very long. This was a personal project of Chris Barrett's. Chris Barrett decided he did not want to go with the internal piston. He wanted to go with an external piston. So he came out with the external piston version of the REC7, and it's evolved to what you see here today. And this rifle here has a lot of proprietary components manufactured by Barrett. It's not just one that's thrown together. This gas system is done by Barrett. The barrels. There's a lot of the components that are chosen, from some of the better products in the industry. But for all intents and purposes, this is a Barrett rifle. The upper receivers are also, they're 775 T6 aircraft forging, and the handguard actually interlocks into the upper receiver. So you also have a proprietary handguard as well, which is free floating. As you can see, this one here's got M-lock on it. So what we're going to do with this one, we're going to go back to front, and we're going to show you what some of these components are and how this gun is made. We have a 6-position receiver extension with the Magpul Mo SL stock on it. For our charging handle, we have the BCM Gunfighter. This is the ambidextrous charging handle. We have the Magpul M-Bus Pro backup sights, front and rear. These are the metal sights, not the polymer sights. And we have a Magpul Mo pistol grip on here, similar to the Myad, which is my favorite in the industry. We also have a Magpul tactical trigger guard, which gives you a little more space in there for gloved hands. The Radiant Arms Talon ambidextrous safety, which is one that I'm quite fond of. It's very high profile. As we spoke, the upper and lower receiver are manufactured from 775 T6 aircraft grade aluminum forgings. This is also manufactured from a forging. Now, an interesting thing about the finish on here, we have a standard hard coat anodizing underneath. Then we have a Cerakote coat on the top, which means they can offer a few different kinds of colors as well by having the Cerakote coat. The main reason why doing the Cerakote coat, not just only for the colors, is this is one way that manufacturers can ensure they get the same colors on the upper and lower receivers. As you see, we have a forward assist, we have a fire cartridge case deflector, and we have the ejection port dust cover. Up front here, we have the barrel. We have a Barrett manufactured flash suppressor. And up here, you will see we have our gas valve. Our gas valve has 2 positions. It has suppressed and unsuppressed. Now, this thing weighs about 7.2 pounds. The 16-inch barrel we have on this one is a cold hammer forged barrel. It's a 5.56 NATO chamber, 1 7-inch twist, which is what you would expect. Now, something else I think is really neat about these things is, I tend to like these polymer ejection port covers. So this is something that I think is pretty neat. So I tend to like these polymer ejection port covers. Now, the trigger we have in here is a Geissele. It's a Geissele SSA trigger, which you would expect in any kind of a high-end rifle like this. Now, we have an overall length of 33.25 inches with a stock closed. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look in the inside, and we're going to take a look at the operating system. First, looking at the bolt carrier, we have a 8620 steel bolt carrier. And as you can see, that the bolt carrier is one piece. The tombstone, if you would, is manufactured right into the steel of the bolt carrier. We have a standard mil-spec type bolt, and we're going to disassemble this and take a look at the bolt, because the bolt's a little bit different. As you can see here, you have a proprietary bolt. If you look at the back, it's been machined off, so there's no area there for gas rings or for the internal piston to be formed with the bolt carrier. Now, to change the position of the gas regulator, you push inward on the spring-loaded plunger, and that will adjust. Now, to remove, you rotate one whole turn, and we pull out. We have the gas regulator here with the two positions. And then we have the short stroke piston. As we can see, there's no gas rings on this. This is very similar to that of an AK. So you tend to get a little bit of blowback on here versus when you have the rings on and it closes up the system. So you tend to use a little bit more gas in here. But you have a very, very strong operating rod. Very, very strong operating rod. So for reassembly, we're going to drop the operating rod back in. Push inward on the spring-loaded plunger. And we're back in position. Now, looking at the fit and finish of this rifle, it is absolutely gorgeous. Barrett did a wonderful job on the fit and finish. The thing is as tight as can be. Of course, you add the Geisley trigger on here if that really makes a major impact on the accuracy of the rifle. You have a standard H buffer in here, which is sort of unusual. Usually with piston guns, you have an H2. But, you know, in firing it, we didn't do any high-speed photography to see if we're getting any bolt carrier bounce or not. It doesn't really matter with the fact this is semi-automatic only. But overall accuracy was pretty good. I think what we're going to do now is we're going to take it to the range and see how it shoots. Now, the recoil impulse on this was very, very nice. It was very, very smooth, especially compared to a lot of external piston guns in this variation. But it ran very, very smooth. Ammunition primarily was the SIG 55 grain full metal jacket, which I just got some to test, which was a very good cartridge, and some of the Black Hills Mark 262, as well as some of the 77 grain open tip match. You know, groups were typical what you would expect to see out of a rifle like this. The optic that I used on this was the Aimpoint Patrol optic. Which was, again, it was designed for short range, and at 25 yards is where it was zeroed. You know, we had pretty much, well within a half inch right in the center where it needed to be. The farthest I went out with it was 75 yards, and we still shot within probably an inch to inch and a half to 2 inches. Again, this is not a magnified optic, so this is just putting it on the target. Overall, I think this is an excellent rifle. I prefer black myself, but you have some different colors for your option. You know, this is not cheap. It's like any kind of a Barrett firearm where you're looking at an MSRP of $1,999. I'm sure you can find them in the wild a lot cheaper. The other problem with these is it's the overall availability. You know, if you're like me, you know, the one I really would have wanted was a 6.8. Those are very, very, very rare. But anybody who's looking to buy a very high quality external piston rifle, this is certainly up there with any of the big boys. It does not have the military service like some of the other ones do, you know, such as the SIG and the Caracal, and for instance, it doesn't have HK 416. But it is extremely well made by a very, very reputable company who knows what it means to make military-grade weapons. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you do, please click like, please subscribe, and even better, share, and please consider donating to our Patreon. Thank you.